Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright people, today it was announced that the Zone, the subscription fee for the Zone, certainly over in this part of the world, Ireland and the UK, has gone up now. Now, some people have been saying, oh no, this isn't good, it's gone up, they're looking for more money. I go into this kind of with a different approach. Put it like this, right? I knew when I signed up to the Zone back in December, $1.99 was just an introductory fee. It was never going to last. They weren't putting on many shows. Some of the shows were good, but they weren't putting on a great deal of them. So $1.99, I understood that. When Eddie Hearn, bear in mind, was still putting a lot of his UK shows on Sky, so you weren't even getting them on the Zone over here. So I understood that. I accepted that this was always going to be a temporary price. Now, when Eddie Hearn announced that he was moving all the way over to the Zone, so no more Sky shows, he did specify that the price would increase. Now, people were speculating. I kind of thought maybe $7.99, but I actually thought maybe $5.99 in and around that. I knew it was going to increase. It just went without saying. Now, some people are saying, look, we understand that it's going to happen, but at the end of the day, they didn't want it to happen so soon, and they thought that, maybe they'd have a few more announcements of fights before it did. And I completely understand that. At the end of the day, I done a video last week about the Sky pay-per-view increase. Some people were like, you're complaining about £5. I was complaining about the principle. The principle of Sky was, they said it was a once-off 2 years ago, and they didn't go through with that. And second of all, it's a piss undercard. It's terrible. So to be charging extra for that, to me, just doesn't make sense. It's the principle of that. No. And for several reasons, with Sky, I don't pay for anymore. I got rid of Sky back in June, and I said I'll never buy a pay-per-view from them again. I have my reasons, but I'll never buy a pay-per-view from Sky ever again. Never again. The Zone is a great little platform. All right, again, not paid by the Zone, never been approached by anyone in the Zone. All right, but the concept of that The Zone app is great, because over here now, people in America might say, gee, $7.99 for yous, we're paying £20. I think it's £20. Some of my American subscribers, if you want to let me know, I'm pretty sure it's £20, but I'm pretty sure you get more. I don't think you just get box. I think you get a lot of different sports on the Zone. In fact, I'm nearly sure of it. I'm nearly sure you guys get more for your money over there. So I can understand why that's a bit dearer over there. Over here it's just boxing. Now, with this price increase, I am fine paying extra for something, provided we are getting good quality entertainment. We are getting consistent fights. Eddie Hearn has talked about bringing it back next-gen shows. Obviously we have Golden Boy cards. Triple G has his own promotional company which is working with the Zone, although he's very small, doesn't put on many shows. So long as we are getting consistently good cards, and cards that are consistent, they might not be amazing. Like, as I said, Eddie Hearn's looking to put on those next gen shows again. Now, he put them on back in the Sky days. He put them on in York Hall on a Wednesday and a Thursday. Were they great in terms of 50-50 fights? No, they weren't, but they were just prospects going in there, just beating some jury. There was some domestic fights, has to be said. Reece Bellotti versus Ryan Walsh when he got knocked out. There was some good little scraps on that card, but it was always kind of the up-and-comers. Some of them. The Matchroom Italy shows and the Spain shows, they're not great. I always said that even before. When he was they were never great, the quality of the shows. Nevertheless, more of them, it's still something extra to watch, and it's something to watch during the week if you've nothing else on. And in terms of the fights, as long as we're seeing more competitive fights, better fights, for example, if we're seeing Dillian Whyte on the Zone rather than him on Sky pay-per-view, that's good. Although Parker Chisora won, now they haven't announced the rematch yet, but say they do, although it wasn't a great fight, certainly wasn't, that was a fight that was on pay-per-view, is now no longer pay-per-view. If we're seeing good competitive fights and decent undercards, like this card this coming week, Frampton, Warrington versus Lara, it's a good card. On paper, I'm looking at it, there's a lot more fights. It's a good card. I've no complaints about it. I might even do a review of that card, preview I should say, of that card coming up. It is a good card. The card on Liverpool, there's more fights to be added to that, I would imagine. Again, they're good cards. I have to say when they are good cards. If they can consistently do that, give us good cards with plenty of good fights and competitive fights at that. I'm not talking about Okay, we've got Dylan White on the same card as Joseph Parker, on the same card as, naming someone, Connor Ben, Katie Taylor, but they're all in one-sided fights. I don't want to see that. As long as we're seeing good, obviously Areola versus Dylan White, probably not that competitive, but still, as long as we're seeing good, evenly fought matches, I'm happy with that. They do need to improve the broadcast team. I've said that before, I'll say it again, and I will keep harping on about that. Whilst it is better than Sky in my opinion, because believe me, on Saturday I watched back Kelly versus Avanisi and it wasn't great. The commentary were really bad. It really was bad. They can improve on that. I've seen some people say that they want to see the production of the zone improve. I think it has improved. As I said in my review of Fight Camp, I kind of gave them the benefit of the doubt because they were in Eddie Hearn's back garden. It's very difficult to get the angles right in Eddie Hearn's back garden because it's not as big a space. So for some people would say the camera angles weren't perfect. I would say give them the benefit of the doubt with that because it was in a backyard. Be a bit more judgmental on this coming one because it's in Headingley, which is a much bigger space, so you should be able to get it a bit better. The production of the zone has improved, as I said. We have other cards in America. They are given. This is one thing I do like what the zone are doing, and you can't knock them for this, is that if there are some, say, big fights in America, like for example Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell, and I know it wasn't a big fight on paper, but Demetrius Andre versus Liam Williams, they put them on at like evening time in the States so we could get them here at a civil time, not a time that's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. We were getting them at 11 o'clock at night. I like that because it does show that they are actually trying to they're thinking outside the box. They're not just saying, right, you guys are in the UK, you get these fights in America, but you have to wait till no, they're not doing that. They're giving them, not all of them obviously, but they're giving some of the fights at decent times, and you have to appreciate that. You do. So for me, the price increase was always going to come. I didn't think it'd be $7.99 per. I thought it might be, but I thought they'd probably go around the $5.99, and maybe if they get other sports on the app at some stage down the line. I reckon darts will be something that will go on the zone eventually because Eddie Hearn is now chairman of the PDC. I think their contract with Sky ends in a couple of years, or maybe even sooner than that. But I'd imagine once that ends, it's on the zone, and they might get other sports as well, in which case it might increase. But look, I knew this was always going to come. In terms of the price hike, it's going to come, I believe, after the month of September. So this month, I believe, is still, or well, technically it's not September yet, but after September, I believe it will still, or after this month, I should say, going into September, it's still going to be $1.99 thereafter, $7.99. Wait and see how the shows go. Eddie Hearn promised us a game changer. I'm still not seeing a change quite yet, but I'm an optimist. I want the zone to succeed. Understand this. I said I want the zone to succeed. Never said Eddie Hearn. Now, obviously, I'm not wishing anything bad on Eddie Hearn. Of course not. I don't wish it on anyone. But what the zone are doing, streaming, having you pay for what you want. As I said, Sky was dear. Sky was costing me well over £100 a month. I'm not a massive football fan. I do like football. I like watching it, but I don't religiously watch it. I like F1. I do watch that, but I can watch that by other means. I don't really watch darts. I don't really watch golf. I don't watch rugby at all. Sports I don't want to watch. I'm not paying for them. Now I'm paying for just boxing. I'm fine with that. So as long as we're getting good value for money, I knew that $1.99 was never going to stay $1.99 for long. We need to just see how it goes. I'm going to give it a bit of time, see how it goes, see what kind of cards we're getting, see how many cards we're getting, because I believe Frank Smith was saying they are trying to get a lot more cards, Matchroom cards specifically, going. So if we get that, if we're getting regular fights and we're getting decent cards, I'm okay with that. Sky and Eddie Hearn sold us that bill of goods a couple of years ago. There'll be more pay-per-views, but it will mean better Sky fight nights. That didn't happen. I'm hoping it happens this time. So we'll watch this space. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know yours. Do you think that no, this is too dear, I don't want to know, and the fights are not going to get any better? If you do, let me know. I want to know in the comment section. For me personally, I'm going into this glass is half full mentality. It's going up in price, but I believe we're going to get more value for money. I certainly do. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe of course if you haven't already. #GBads. Rocks haven't said that in a while, but for now, lads and lassies, I'll talk to you. Peace.